Today we join our hero, SOPHIE surname, formerly Valkyrie Aurora, who was one of the rising stars of the YouTube gaming scene in the 2017 to 2020 era alongside Klemps, Super Butterbun, Shenpai and a few others. Her channel was doing great and her debut video on Nerines00 got millions of views. Here she is on Twitter talking about how happy she is the views are going so well. She would also stream semi-regularly on Twitch as Pixie Valkyrie with her annoying woke friend group, including Sphere Hunter, Cullen and Super Butterbuns. She would sit in her own private Discord server where she was the queen bee and people would just join the call as she streamed. The only yabs were that she was very flirty with the guys, apart from one whom she bullied a lot. Here she is joking about bullying him by literally blocking him.
Was it another day for you to bully?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, I bullied the shit out of him yesterday, and then he bullied me back, and then I said I was gonna block him, and he was like, I'm gonna die.
She would do awful things like this a lot, and it's proof that the innocent, shy girl with the soft voice was actually a high school bully in her friend group. The guys obviously would allow this because they were simps. Basically everyone was annoying and said memes a lot, but sometime around 2020, something changed. She was about 3 or 4 years into her channel and was at the point where her content was diverse enough that she could play anything and people would watch, but it swiftly descended from insightful analysis videos to low-effort 30-minute let's plays. Despite this, she continued to grow. The cute girl on the internet buff was working well, but she was naturally very funny and genuinely liked video games, and had a quick and catchy editing style, unlike a lot of the OnlyFans whores who pretend to give a shit about games so they can leech money from lonely men. Her Twitter meanwhile became much more woke, as did her Tumblr. She was always left-leaning, often responding to questions on her Tumblr account showing as much. But suddenly she was talking in favor of BLM, and alluding to all the woke slogans like, white privilege, cis, and whatever else was in that week. By this point it's obvious that this friend group had completely poisoned her mind with identity politics and rotted whatever individuality she had, and her content really stagnated and went downhill, devolving into mainly just SOPHIE being horny and not being able to go more than 5 minutes without mentioning how bisexual she is. But then the unthinkable happened. The woke shit infected her YouTube videos. This was unprecedented. See, before this, she kept it very separate, because her self-awareness was still present enough to know that deep down that the only reason she said this stupid woke shit was to keep her stupid friends happy. But by this point, during her Final Fantasy X video, it all culminated in the most hilarious case of woke shit ever seen when SOPHIE literally, unironically got genuinely offended by Waka, a fictional man, being racist toward the Al-Bed, a fictional race of people. She was seething. It's in her highlight video. Aside from this, it was just the typical identity politics brain rot you'd associate with a female liberal who doesn't even understand she's a socialist. It makes this author sad that she can vote, but at the same time, looking at the state of Sweden now, karma seems to have caught up with her and the rest of those dumb fucking furniture addicts. A dime a dozen. Especially in Sweden. Lol, Ibrahimovic retiring really ruined them. But what is particularly unique about SOPHIE's surname is that she then went completely off the rails. It seemed a gradual descent that was most likely the result of the popularity going to her head. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, she deleted fucking everything. Well, privated. She threw away over 225,000 subscribers that she had painstakingly built over the 3 years with the ultimate fucking Menhera meltdown and privatized every single video, and then brought him back a while later while blaming it all on stalkers. More on this later. Despite this, she kept the same Twitch channel and simply renamed it, and also kept posting selfies and some lewd cosplay to her Instagram, like her 2B cosplay from Nier Automata. It's worth mentioning that this author has no problem with video deletion. They were her videos. It's her life, her choice. What's odd to this author are the lies she told regarding the reasons why she did so. Eventually she went dark, deleted the Instagram and the Tumblr accounts, said she wanted to become a florist, and even deleted her Twitter account. She was never coming back. Until she obviously did. And with this weird VTuber model.
Hello?
That laugh still haunts this author to this day. After this shit storm and break, there's a void where I don't have info on what happened. But eventually she debuted a proper VTuber model and started doing VTubing full time. This was between 2020 and 2021 I think. She would average about 300 to 400 viewers per stream just playing any game. VT would mock her for her menhair tendencies, and then, within a day of a thread about her, she booted up a stream addressing almost everything that was said, including her copyright striking the videos of hers that people had re-uploaded. Eventually she would make her videos public again. VT did make some unsubstantiated claims about her that I won't mention here because they're very damaging and no evidence was there to support it. Every time proof was asked for, the anon would go silent, so it's likely a malicious actor out for revenge against her. But other anons made many good points regarding the contradictions in her statement. But this was a new dawn for Sophie's surname, despite the drama, and represented a chance to start over and grow as a person. Through word of mouth, many old fans found her new channel. But it's also mainly because all she did was change her Twitch name. She wanted them to find her. Despite claiming to be fearful of stalkers, her streams at first were just as weird as usual, with her being overly horny like her Valkyrie Aurora persona. But over time, as the live viewers simply never grew, she obviously became disillusioned with it and realized she had fucked up royally. She just couldn't admit it. Her streams became more low effort, low energy and apathetic, and painful to watch. Despite this, she managed to get into a collab with Pikami and many pre-Nijisanji powerhouses. It's known as the Cursed Stream. Thing is, Nerine barely said a word. She was obviously too anxious socially. Many mock her for this. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. Fear gets the best of us all sometimes. Eventually her streams went from 300 to 400 CCV and now she gets 100 to 175 on average. Even the biggest fans can only take being disrespected for so long before they find another favorite. But the Cursed Stream almost definitely contributed to her sudden lack of collabs since then. Because she barely ever collaborates with anyone. And then the Twitter lonely posting began. She's known as a 10 out of 10 Swede. But she's awkward and has trouble reaching out. The problem is, the friends she made are fucking insufferable, and simply tell her she's perfect. This author has lost count of the amount of times she's lonely posted on Twitter about being too scared to reach out. She's been doing it since 2019 in fact, but all of her friends and simps never set her straight, and now her streams are the same. A hug box. They're shielding her from the world because they want her to themselves, and she needs the validation because, well, she's female. No offense, ladies, if it's any consolation, the men who simp for her are just as cringy. Kek. And now our hero Sophie is stuck in a vortex. She's being destroyed by the very hug box she created to protect herself from all the criticism on YouTube, Twitter and 4chan. Instead of realizing and addressing the contradictions in her actions in 2020, even if you genuinely have no idea about the drama, simply bringing up her old YouTube handle will get you banned. And she has many mods who are itching to ban anyone for being even slightly off vibe. In short, her friends, to whom she often refers to as mods instead of friends, are very close with her. They often brag in chat about how they've been hanging out with Sophie in Discord voice chats just to lord it over the rest of the peasants, some of whom reply to her every tweet, only to be completely ignored every time. One in particular is a recurring subscriber who has given her more than $1,000 over the years. Some men have no hope, I swear to shitfuck. And yet Sophie only sees these mods, as pets. Not friends. She once called one of them a pet rat, and has never called him a friend, or collaborated with him. Despite him being a VTuber as well, the streams themselves are usually a JRPG or just chatting. But the chat is dominated by her mods, one of whom cannot ever stop talking, named Flat Cap Game. They're the pet rat who calls Sophie, bestie, in chat. There's some non-binary Brit and constantly talks about how they're non-binary, just in case someone forgets for a second that they're really ridiculously non-binary. Despite them also being a streamer, they never collaborate, because Sophie doesn't collaborate with 2 views. The simp can't even make 10 live viewers, not popular enough for her. Flatcap dominates the live chat in every single stream, and I guarantee you that no matter what time it is, if Sophie is streaming, say his name and he'll appear like Joe fucking Hendry. And you'll see Flat's purple font in chat. Being best friends with the popular YouTuber from 2020 is their best thing in life, and they'll gatekeep everyone they can to keep new people away from their precious pretend wife, even going so far as to be non-binary to get a shot at her, since she hates what she calls cis men. This power-tripping mod is very selfish and puts themselves above hundreds of others for attention. Maybe Flat has a chance, though, because she does love these. Yeah. She's your typical feminist man hating liberal women. As for the streams themselves, they've become so low energy that even this author can't watch them anymore. But it begs the question once more as to why she really deleted the videos from Valkyrie Aurora, and betrayed her fans. Not by deleting them, but by lying. She claimed there were stalkers, but kept the same Twitch account, simply switching the name. That's not something you do when you're fearing for yourself and your family. And why continue to be lewd on social media for a while before doing a DFE? It doesn't add up at all, and never has. But instead of encouraging her to stop feeling sorry for herself, address the controversy honestly, or simply to stop banning people for asking genuine questions about why she sounds so much like Valkyrie Aurora. She gets her friends to eat up the "poor lonely girl" routine, because they want to fuck her and think enough simping will get her to fly from Sweden to wherever they are. And with that, those friends become mods she can use to weaponize against any criticism. Thing is, she almost definitely found a boyfriend within the past year. The lonely posting stopped. She barely posted on Twitter, streaming even less than usual, and she would turn up to streams literally drunk. It was entertaining for sure. She no longer talked about sexy characters she wanted to fuck. She did that all the time back in the day, and she was instead talking about dinner with friends earlier that day while hammered on stream, and it was obvious. It was honestly nice to see. She seemed happier. Although the unprofessionalism of being wasted on a livestream reeking of an incoming menhera outburst. But very recently she began lonely posting again and promptly did a very raunchy smash or pass stream. So they obviously broke up, assuming that's what happened to her. During this stream she body shamed men for having grey hair and bad teeth.
When we start entering gray hair territory, I'm just like, I'm afraid that I'm going to touch your pee-pee and it's gonna like fall off. I mean that, and just like, sir, do you have teeth left? Where are your dentures?
Body shaming is okay when progressive liberals partake in it, as we all know. It's ironic, considering every photo of her online is caked in makeup and filters with the perfect angle. How about you show us that face without makeup, Sophie? There was a period of about a month where she went away to work on a personal project this year, and this author wondered if Valkyrie Aurora was coming back. But then she resurfaces and nothing's happened. Most likely a vacation with the new BF. But once again, she withholds even the most basic information to her loyal fans. They're not entitled to this knowledge, but given the view count dropping further as a result, it seems she's not entitled to their support either. Laziness, selling out, disrespecting fans. But her streams are now low-view snooze fests either way. The girl with all the potential in the world back in 2017 to 2020 became lazy, and turned her back on making quality content, all for the easy VTuber bucks. She now only streams once or twice a week, despite her Twitter schedule saying Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Friday's streams are a very rare thing now, but she has so little respect for her fans that she still won't update her schedule since March 2023. She used to inform her fans of these things and sometimes still does, but even that level of respect for her diehard fans is below her now. For the most part, she doesn't owe anyone this level of respect. But by actively ignoring the bare basic courtesy of keeping your fans updated and being honest with them whenever possible. This has led to an exodus of viewers. Due to this, along with her refusal to collab with other VTubers, she is in the throes of the long descent. If she returned to Valkyrie Aurora, then she'd likely get some viewers. This author would be very interested in seeing if a YouTube channel that's been inactive since June 2020 could possibly get an algorithm boost. But it's now down to 196,000 from a high of about 225,000, meaning at least 29,000 people have unsubscribed. In her announcement video of her leaving the channel, which is still up, she disabled comments. But that was before she deleted everything. And now there's a community post about the videos going back up. While they were down, people would re-upload them and she would personally strike them down. Fair enough, they were her. But due to this she seems to have developed contempt for her audience, both old and new. Her streams are designed to appeal to her little circle now. Her hugbox. Her hypocrisy is shining through once more, with her calling out this chatter for being weird and a creep, despite Sophie then going on to say equally sexually grotesque things in her smash or pass stream, and also saying things like this in the past. With this,
Okay. I just want to experiment a bit. Yo, hello tuna freak. Don't say that. You're weird. I just need you to fuck my guts up. I want you to fuck me up so bad it changes the way that my stomach absorbs nutrients. Oh.
Fuck my guts. You're weird.
Views plummeted, and it seems no VTuber agency will touch her with a barge pole. Any random viewer walking into a stream of hers will probably be instantly put off by her favoritism towards her mod friends in chat, and mentioning them like anyone else would have any idea who they even are. Add to that the woke outbursts.
I think it's very bold of them to continue development and actually releasing the Hogwarts game in the midst of J.K. Rowling digging herself further into the turf pit. Yep. At least, what's his face? Radcliffe. Forget his first name. At least he was like, hey, not everyone who was involved in making the movies for this was, you know, thinks poorly of trans people. You're so brave, Clive. You're so cool. That sucks so much, dude. That sucks. I can't believe how much that sucks. That gives me the fucking ick right there. Even though those are guys, baby girl has nothing, let me make this very clear. It has nothing to do with gender. Especially if they're guys. Especially. I would not refer to a woman as baby girl because I respect women. Oh!
She genuinely hates men, and all her guy friends are non-binary. Go figure. From 2021 to now, her streams have gotten more and more lazy, low effort, and her audience are just the die-hard simps of yesteryear now. She hasn't linked to her new Twitch via her old YouTube, but there's a rumor she originally did, then likely realized it was a retarded idea and her "I'm afraid of stalkers" bullshit would be exposed as a lie. She even mentions what city she lives in. Even today, a couple weeks ago she blurted it out on stream. If she has weird fans in that city, they'll now be on the lookout for her whenever they go outside. This author will not state the name of that city or include any real-life pictures of her. These are not the actions of a scared woman. They're the actions of a liar and attention seeker. She's so desperate for attention that over the years she's revealed her first name, her city of residence, her face, and even pictures of her home from the inside. There's a rumor that someone found a personal account that wasn't public of hers and that made her freak out, which would be in line with the stalker story. But even then, why not delete the Pixie Valkyrie Twitch channel and just make a new one? I'll tell you why she didn't delete the Twitch. Despite apparently fearing for her safety to the point where she deleted every video she ever made. The reason is clout. She couldn't bear to lose those followers. So that "I'm scared" argument doesn't hold up. She is obsessed with clout, popularity, and numbers. This is why she doesn't respond to unpopular people on Twitter and never collaborates with them. Because of this author thinks that the reason she really deleted her videos seems obvious. She's very mentally ill. And I sympathize with her there. And so it manifests in her deciding to DFE everything she made. This got her loads of attention, and made people want her back. Having people want you is a huge desire for anyone. And it can manifest in ways like this when you have mood dysregulation disorders like she shows symptoms of. Domo Ariga thanks. A resident dickhead leech did an interview with her a few years back where he made her audibly uncomfortable, asking about her past life before VTubing, and here's how she awkwardly responded.
Actually, before streaming, you were making other forms of content on YouTube, correct?
Yes, that's true.
So, in terms of that, you completely dropped it, actually, to pursue VTubing, I imagine. So, which is a huge jump, actually. Why the sudden change?
So creating content was something that I ended up kind of just randomly doing.
Yeah.
It like as is the case with a lot of like content creators, you don't know what's going to take off.
And then she deleted her VOD channel. Perhaps the true reason she went away also lies in her contempt for her own work. She once expressed on Twitter that she did not like being the soft-spoken Nia girl, but this was what she was known for. Nerine is a Zentreya stan. Zentreya is my biggest fan, for anyone wondering. Before Elon Musk privatized likes on X, Soph would often be seen liking Zen's posts. But even now she constantly posts about how she's too scared to reach out for collabs. She started this in 2020, 4 years ago, and it took until a few months back for her to get a collab with Porcelain Maid. This could have been massive for her, a literal in for V-Shoujo, but she fell back into being a recluse. She no doubt applied for the V-Shoujo auditions. It'd be a menhera dream if she got in. The Valkyrie Aurora deletion occurred during Holo Live-N auditions. And this latest deletion does coincide for the auditions for Holo Live-N 3. But neither are confirmed. But for now she streams for her annoying friends and seems half content to vanish into obscurity, while also seemingly frustrated with her low view count, despite being hilariously inconsistent in her streaming. The evidence for that is simple enough. Remember how she deleted her Valkyrie Aurora videos? She did it with her Nerines00 channel as well. It used to have highlights of her Tales of Berseria playthrough, a copy of the Cursed collab, and many other things. But now it sits empty despite thousands of subscribers. She just can't help but act out with these overly dramatic outbursts. Once again she disrespects her audience. Not because she deleted the videos, but because she lied the first time, and didn't even bother to lie this second time, with an audience as loyal and large as hers. A simple explanation would have been not too much to ask for. But I assume she thinks she's above it. Sophie is addicted to deleting things. She regularly deletes her Twitch VODs as well, with no reason given. So fans of hers can't even watch the one stream she did that week. Nowadays Sophie still mainly ignores her old friends, many of whom helped her explode onto the scene in 2017, such as Klemps and Super Butter Buns. She still hasn't collaborated with Klemps or Buns, despite seemingly being friendly with them still. But while Klemps did raid her once and Buns turns up to her stream sometimes, Sophie never does the same for them. Perhaps they represent her old life and she resents them like she resents her old content. But now they mostly went away, tired of being ignored by her. And even though I once asked Klemps himself if he would collab with her and her said he'd love to, nothing has happened. Another old YouTube friend from Sophie's old Pixie Valkyrie streams in 2018 is now nothing more than a mod in her chat. She'll post occasionally in her subscriber-only Discord, which she never promotes to whomever still lurks there, playing favorites with all her favorite little simps, which she actually refers to as very important woofs, in order to appease them, so they're just pets too. But despite being a VTuber just like Klemps, whom she was very close with back in the day, to the point where they did this podcast together, Coffee with Klemps, and collaborated many times, she now publicly ignores him unless he raids her channel like that one time and forces her hand, and never re-followed him between 2020 and 2023 until he became a VTuber. Conclusion: truth be told, it's a very sad story. Sophie, beyond the raunchy personality and the misandry, is just a timid girl who has been taken advantage of by ideologues with agendas, dating back to 2018 when she was in her early 20s and at her most vulnerable and malleable. These friends of hers pushed that agenda on her so much that she began to change into one of them. The shy girl from 2017 is still there, but in throwing away her main legacy on this planet due to an emotional outburst, she began a long, slow and painful decline that's manifested only by her fading relevancy. She has also been transformed into a political ideologue who doesn't even realize it, and has a deep contempt for men. She's still a menhera, but obviously has other things going on in life. This author hopes it goes well for her and that she realizes her hypocrisy and deep-rooted hatred, and then ditches the awful friends, but also doubts she'll ever do so, or even recapture the magic of her old channel. Because to ditch the narcissistic friends means to lose that protective shield against the world and to lose her hugbox. Author Chan here also hopes she seeks therapy for the mental illness that likely sits at the heart of her actions. Genuinely. The question is, will the need for validation prove so great that it ultimately brings her back to the Valkyrie Aurora channel when the live view count of the Nerines channel inevitably sinks below 100? Or shall she simply leave it all behind? This author has no idea. It's been over 4 years now, but 196,000 are still there, waiting on a Valkyrie Aurora return. A first video back could be popular, but one has to imagine she'd only get a fraction of her old view count, and the validation and clout could be like a high for her. She even occasionally posts IRL pictures about once to twice a year of her face to Twitter, only to delete them later. They're very shopped and edited. But that's every e-girl in existence. Overall it speaks to a lack of confidence and self-esteem, despite having so many things going for her. This is why she keeps the simps around, but also at arm's length. And it's also why she keeps her awful friends around, because they tell her everything she wants to hear, but not what she needs. They use her for clout just as she uses them as damage control. Regarding future predictions, this author predicts that her schedule will become more and more fractured and that she will take even more month-long hiatuses. and ultimately give up on streaming at some point, since she spent a lot of money on that VTuber rigging and art only for it to go nowhere after all. Had she integrated her old persona into her new one, but properly and without lashing out at confused fans who were simply curious why she was being all BPD about it, she could have grown as a VTuber, and as a person. But unfortunately, the VTubing adventure will go down as an abject failure for Sophie. She never took off like Valkyrie Aurora did, and then never capitalized on the collabs, because instead of being brave and changing her ways, she was convinced by her simpy narcissistic friends to stay the same and that she was perfect, and didn't need to change. That lack of change is why she now streams to virtually no one. Even the follower count boost from the Porcelain Maid collab quickly went away, and most of them have gone already, very likely for the reasons mentioned in this very essay. That could have been her in for V Shoujo, and she is a Zentreya fan, but even that was thrown away, and Porcelain Maid disabled comment on his VOD for it as well. Sophie's addiction to silencing her critics and even her fans has become a compulsion, and that is the vortex that the mutual trust between her and her loyal audience disappeared into. Her follower count will continue to trend downwards, her view count will continue along the same path, unless she makes an effort for the few fans she has left. Maybe this author will check back in a year to see if those diehard simps are still around. For now, toodles, my good chums. Based Department V1. Signing the fuck out.